Okay, all right. So hello and hi. So today we're gonna have a forum about equity in education, and the title is about the addressing disparities in education. So today we have four panelists for the forum. So let me introduce the first one, which is a social activist expert, which is Ivan Haika. So hi Ivan.
Hi,
Hi. Okay, so great. How are you doing? How are you doing?
doing good, really, really great.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, welcome to our forum, by the way.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so okay, and then we have head expert, which is Ang. Say hello to Ang. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. You doing great?
Yeah, good.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we have political expert, which is Penny. Say hi.
Hi.
Hi. You're good. How are you?
Yes, very good.
Very good. All right. So, and then for the last one, we got a pretty one, and we got the economist aspect, which is Zalia Farisha. So, hi, Zalia.
Hi everyone.
Hi. So, you're doing good?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So, okay. So, let me go to the point that we need to be discussed. Okay. So, about the education. Okay. So, first of all, I would like to highlight about the importance of education. So we know that everyone understands that value of education, since it's the only way to break free from the ignorance that only stand in the way of one's growth and the advancement. We all knew that a New York-based non-governmental organization called a Global Citizen conducted a study that found that families that are struggling with continue to live in the poverty if their children doesn't have access to education. And also, education is one of the key and the crucial efforts to the guarantee that a family can reach a financial security according to the research they did as well. And according to a study by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, also known as UNESCO, 60 millions of adults worldwide may escape the change of poverty with just 2 more years of education. So is this related with also the racial discrimination that happens in the educational system in other countries? So, Irfan, let me ask you the first question. What is the best way or step for us to reduce the issues of the racial discrimination in the education of in the future? What do you think?
Okay, first of all, thank you for your question, Mr. Moderator.
All right.
So, for me, first of all, I want to agree with your viewpoint on expressing the highlight of presence of racial discrimination in Malaysia education system, and also the negative consequences it has on the students from ethnic minority group. So for me, I think that racial discrimination in education should be eliminated as it regards the need and potential of students from certain races, especially.
Okay.
It also leading towards the social friction and also unequal opportunities, as being stated by R. Santiram from Free Malaysia Today. For me, we have to take a few steps to reduce racial discrimination in education, especially in Malaysia, including implement equal opportunity policies, fostering inclusive school environments, enhancing teacher training, reforming their curriculum to include diverse perspective, and also to strengthening oversight and accountability, plus promoting cross culture for us to understand it more. And we can also demonstrate government commitment through resource allocation and necessary reforms. For me, these actions are crucial because it will create a more inclusive and equitable education system that can ensure fairness and also eliminates discriminatory practice based on races in Malaysia as well.
I
So I
see.
think that's all from me.
Oh, that's a very great explanation, Irfan. So, do you
Thank
believe that
you.
the government is like a very should play a very significant role, right, for this particular issue, right?
Yep,
So,
true.
okay. So, looking at the current development of Malaysia under the new government, do you feel that a big change will happen regarding the issue of racial discrimination in the future, especially in the field of education?
Okay. So in Malaysia, our ethnic minority students face limited access to education due to quota system, unequal privileges, and also racial discrimination. Discriminatory policies also hinder their academic journey and future prospect. So considering the content from Davina N of Education, Races and Changes in Malaysia, it is a bit unclear whether it is a significant change regarding the issue of racial discrimination in education will occur under this new form government in Malaysia. For me, while there have been calls for reforms and policy changes, the evidence presented suggests deep-rooted systemic issues and also a lack of concrete actions to address discrimination, and also the existence of discriminatory practices, quotas, unequal access to education for our students, lots of students from different ethnic minorities indicate a persistent problem. And however, it is essential for us, the citizens, to monitor the government commitment and actions in promoting equality and also inclusivity in education to determine whether it is substantial changes will be made in the future. Plus, it's also urgent for government and for us to urge the policy changes and also educational reforms which are needed to ensure the equal and accessible education for all. I think that's all from me. I give it back to our Mr. Moderator. Thank you.
Wow, okay, fine. Wow, it's a very detailed explanation. And okay, we know that realizing the value of education, that the government must focus on ensuring that all segments of society, particularly underprivileged in Malaysia, and have equal access to the opportunity in the educational institution to complete the Ifran's point. And then, as the head expert, do you agree with the Ifran explanation just now?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Yes, I agree with his statement and the way and step he provides to reduce the problem of racial discriminations in education. And I also agree with his opinions on whether there will be change in Malaysia in the future regarding racial discrimination, especially in the area of education. This is because my opinion is that the new government represents a new policy, and the new government will address the problems faced in various areas, especially racial disparity and discriminations in the field of education, step by step for the future development of Malaysia. And in Malaysia, racial discrimination is considered an issue that will affect the country. Besides this, the issue of racial discrimination in Malaysia will change with the times and the mindset of the people. Therefore, this is the reason why I agree with him.
Wow, okay. Also, okay, let me jump to your question. For your question, as a head expert, it is possible to increase an institution's level of head, such as school, in order to close the achievement gap in the educational system.
Thank you, Mr. Morita, for the questions. And my answer is absolutely. Improving the health of an institution, such as schools, can have a significant impact on closing the achievement gap in education. As the article by Deborah Temkin, Kristen Harper, and Cassidy Gura state, the relationship between education and health is reciprocal, which indirectly means that health and academic success are closely related. They also state that if schools are healthy, they will be proactive in meeting the basic needs of students and helping them to create an educational environment in which students are better able to focus on learning and teachers are better able to focus on teaching. This will achieve the goal of closing the gap in the education system.
Okay, so for the second question is, do you agree that if I state that a lot of school environment in Malaysia is still in a bad state because the case of bullying is in the schools are increasing?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. Yes, I agree that the school environment in Malaysia is a cause for concern due to the increase in bullying cases. Bullying can have serious physical and psychological consequences for the victim and can have long-term effect. It is therefore imperative that we address this issue as a matter of urgency. This also relates to what I have just said about improving the health of school. A healthy school represents a positive climate, and as expressed in the article by Deborah Temkin, Kristen Harper, and Cassidy Gouras, a positive school climate is closely linked to a reduction in violence, safer school, and improved academic performance. And we must know that healthy schools have different strategies to maintain the school climate and address issues around student safety and school violence. Therefore, improving the health of schools is something that must be focused on. Yeah, so that's all. I pass back to you, Mr. Moderator.
All right, and thank you very much for your explanation. As we all know that it's not a simple undertaking to attempt to close the gap between two social classes through fair education. And we all know that in this age of globalization, there are numerous obstacles to be overcome. You know that according to a National Association of the Parent Teachers, which known as a PIBGN, one of the difficulties in the home learning process is the digital divide between urban and rural area. And also as stated by the organization president, Professor Muhammad Ali Hassan, especially in the interior or rural areas as well as suburbs assess gaps or ICT, which is information and communication technology assess, the level of preparedness of students and teachers dealing with the learning home are various levels consisting of being ready, still confused, and not ready at all. So we all know that the effect of the, we call it the educational gap, there will be a severe repercussion of Malaysia and its citizen if the solution to achieving educational equality is not put into the practice right away. So Penny, as a political
Sorry, Mr. Moderator.
Yeah.
May I intervene?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I just want to add things that I do support the statement given by our health expert, Miss Ang.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because which for me overall, addressing health needs in school can have a significant impact on reducing educational disparities as it improves academic performance, attendance, engagement, school climate, support services, and also resource allocation. And it is very important for us to create a healthy school, as it is an important step towards achieving educational equality for all students without claiming their different race, different background. Yeah.
I see. Okay, so to conclude your point is we must create a very healthy school environment, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So I think a government should make an awareness to make sure that all the students have a great environments in school, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So back to the political aspect just now. Okay. So like I say this now, the effect of the educational gap, right? There will be a severe repercussion for Malaysian, and if the solution to achieving the educational equality is not put in the practice right away. So we all know that some education being played for the political things, and as a political aspect, do you think that the right to education is something that should not be politicized because it's something that a very person has a right to? Do political difference explain why some areas receive less support than others? Okay, Penny?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. I think so because we have compensation effect, which is the developmental literature argues that education may compensate for lack of resources and political socialization in the family because individuals raised in lower educated families are more likely to be raised by parents who work less, to be less exposed to high-status social networks and politically engaged role models, and to be offered fewer politically relevant resources in their formative years. Such political inequalities seem to extend to the important area of substantive representation. Studies in various European countries shows that party positions are more congruent with the views of higher educated citizens than the views of those with lower levels education. However, despite the disproportionate presence of the higher educator throughout the political process. There is no direct evidence that highly educated citizens have a larger influence on government policy. This is the gap we aim to fill in this study. Besides that, renewed interest in civic education. Given politics' policy, it is paramount that schools play a role in developing students' abilities to effectively participate in collective decision making, particularly students from groups that have historically been disenfranchised or otherwise excluded from the political process. This is my answer. Thank you, moderator.
All right. Okay. So let me jump to the second question. Okay. So do you believe that the Malaysia's education system is still impacted by political factors because every state, some states still do not have a right to educational equality?
Okay, I agree with that. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. We find that takeover is more common in contexts where states are paying a larger share of educational expenses and in majority black districts regardless of academic performance. While our study does not provide definitely evidence of intentional racial targeting, it is certainly consistent with such a story. Studies that have investigated the causal effect of formal education on participation have displayed mixed results, some finding no effect and positive effects. So, while they control for selection into education, they assume that education impacts the political participation of all equally. But it is in fact highly unlikely that individuals from different backgrounds who have experienced different types of political socialization and have different levels of resource would react in the same way to a treatment. So, politics play a comparable, if not larger, role in shaping post-COVID school reopening plans than public health factors, with some comparisons showing participantship to be a stronger predictor of in-person learning offering than case rates. This is my answer. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Okay. So to conclude your point, socially speaking, it will make it more challenging for the poor to escape the chains of poverty because they are unable to make a maximum use of the government's effort and the possibility. Okay, so let me jump to the economics aspect. Okay, so according to some earlier studies, Zalia, impoverished and people are frequently unable to pursue their education at a higher level because doing some comes at the increasing of cost. As a result, low-income students have fewer options to pursue higher education, especially at the post-secondary level. This statement, according to Ishak Yusof, the degree of economic growth is closely correlated with education levels. In a sense, both economic strength and education are influenced by it. And the amount of the funding needed for education, according to the author 1997, will also have an impact on the pace of decline and the enrollment of young people in school. So, as an economics aspect, Zalia Farisha, what can be done to reduce the socio-economic divide among the citizens of the nation, such as it benefit the educational system?
All right, okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. So, as an economic expert, I disagree regarding my opinion on the socio-economic divide among the nations that not more than half has the access to public schools. Hence, the lack of initiative from the government has led to the decreasing quality of the educational system due to unsatisfying numbers of students that gain the benefits of knowledge. For instance, the historical events of Black people and orang asli receive less benefits from the education systems. There are two aspects that I want to highlight. The first one is funding disparities. So orang asli and black students may receive unequal schools financings due to lack underfunding. These schools may lack resources, outdated buildings, and educational materials. So in order to offer quality education to all groups, financing disparities must be overcome by providing adequate funds equally. Next is socioeconomic factors. So socioeconomic considerations significantly impact disparities in education. So black and orang asli students confront economic hardships, joblessness, and insufficient healthcare. These circumstances can prevent academic achievement. Income supports and community development programs can help reduce the socioeconomic disparities in education.
Oh, okay, that's very great explanation from you. Okay, so my second question for you is, do you believe that future global economic development will benefit countries in a way that prevent economic stratification from leading to educational inequality?
Okay, to me, the nation's present economic development will not benefit the nation in a way that prevents economic stratifications. There will be a gap in quality between class of people that will lead to educational inequality simply due to lacks of research and development in the education system that matches the 21st centuries. So during the pandemic, most black students and orang asli struggle even more due to lack of reliable internet, laptops, and other distance education gear. Even without these resources, educational gaps worsen and learning opportunities are equal. So this gap can be closed by investing in infrastructure and technology in underprivileged communities. So in addition, the statistics of SF have led me to disagree on this point due to black students and honestly has reliable internet and infrastructure. And moreover, the government lack of long-term solution has an impact on educational and resources, teachers, and financial inequality itself. So critics claim that the government chooses to respond the nation in short-term solutions rather than persistent concerns. So, and on the other hand, I think the government must prioritize the educations. Education's policy limits human capital development, socioeconomic inequality, innovation, and competitiveness. Policymakers must recognize the importance of education, allocate the sufficient resources, execute to reforms and guarantee equal opportunities for quality education. By unlocking their citizens' potential, civilizations can boost economic growth, social advancements, and equity. And lastly, to me that education infrastructure limits learning, comprehensive growth, and socioeconomic inequalities. So authorities must further prioritize investing in education infrastructure, assigning enough funds for development and maintenance, and successful integrated technology to address the issue. So by doing so, we can build an enabling environment that promotes effective teaching and learning, equal opportunity and students as success. Thus, prosperous, equitable, and inclusive societies require strong education infrastructure. I think that's all from me, Mr. Moderator.
Oh, that's very great. I want to highlight your point just now. You say that we should have like more invest to the education to make sure that we
Yes.
have a positive impact in the future, right?
Yes.
Okay, so to conclude everyone points here, we already.
Sorry, Mr.
Yeah,
Moderator.
just add anything.
Okay. Sorry, I'm as a social activist.
Yeah,
I
alright.
somehow have a different perspective
what's that
with the
different?
statement given by our economy expert, Ms. Zalia, right? So for me, overall, socio-economic factors significantly contribute to education disparities by influencing access, resources, infrastructure, and also government policies. And it's also addressing that these factors is crucial for reducing educational inequalities and also fostering inclusive and equitable education system. Yeah, I think that's on my perspective and point of view.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ifran, for your point of view.
You're welcome.
So you just said that the community living in the country will find it difficult to completely devote themselves to education if the quality of the infrastructure, facilities, and internet connection is not the same as that one of just living in the city. Do you think?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I see. Okay. All right. So, any one of you have any points to discuss? Since we are the last of the forum.
I have something to add on.
All
I
right.
think regarding this issue, I think parents involvement and support are required to overcome this issue,
Okay.
because parental support involvement are essential for students' achievements, because black students and orang asli parents may confront lack of knowledge, language, or resources to parental involvement. So I think parental engagement, parent education, and good communication between the parents and the governments and the students can help close the gaps and promote educational equity. I think that's my opinion about this issue.
Wow, that's a very great point. Okay, so to summarize and to conclude to everyone's point, since everyone's then does it have anything to add on?
I think I do.
What is it, Ifan?
Yeah, back
we
to me
still have
again.
time. We still have time.
Okay,
We still have time.
okay, so in my point of view,
Yes.
this issue are mainly caused by the government focus on short-term solution only, and about the quotas, the persistence, the oppressive laws, the systemic racial discrimination within schools, the lack of tolerance and understanding amongst educators and society. So I think that the government must find a new idea to resolve this kind of matter. Yeah.
Yes, I agree
Yeah.
with your statements about that, Mr. Irfan.
Yeah, we also want to see the new Minister of Education under the new government. What's their vision about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, to conclude everyone's points, right? Having information ingrained in oneself can help one become more competitive and prepared for whatever obstacle may come their way. Even though education cannot guarantee money and luxury in life. Therefore, closing the gap between two classes through equitable education is a progressive measure that the government should put into the action right away, since equitable education is unquestionably capable of promoting individual improvement as well as the advancement of society and the nation as a whole, which benefit everyone in the end. Everyone agree with me?
Yes, Mr. Malaysia.
Yes, I agree with you, Mr. Moderator.
Me too. I do agree with you, Mr. Malaysia.
Really? Okay, so we at the end of our forum. So I just want to say thank you to everyone, to Ifan, Zalia, Ang, and also Penny. So see you soon and bye.
All right. Thank you for all. Bye.
Alright.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, everyone. Thank
See you
you,
guys.
Mr. Moderator.
And come to my uni, UKM, UKSNC. All right.
Okay, see you again.
Bye.